today, Jamil and I are going to be doing something a little bit different today that we're really excited about. We've been getting a lot of DMs, like personal messages, and even just messages in our comment section from you guys asking about like relationship advice for you. You wanted our input because for those of you who do not know, we've been together 20 plus years. We're high school sweethearts. We have been through a lot
we have.
in our relationship, as most long-term couples have. So, you know, I figured this might be a really good time to just switch it up a little bit and actually give our advice to you and just our input and 2 cents. Also coming from like a therapist perspective, I can use my therapist hat, but I think mainly I really do want to kind of use our relationship hat. And
exactly. We want to answer maybe about 5 or 6 questions or so, and then, you know, in the future, if you guys do like these, we could do more of them, you know?
We could do more segments.
Exactly.
Also, you guys are asking personal questions about our relationship. That's going to be a separate video that we're going to do very soon as well. We'll do another Q&A answering questions about us.
Exactly.
But this will be about you guys, okay?
That's right.
Okay.
And one last thing before we read the first question. This is, you know, essentially our answer to the relationship. This isn't the only answer that's out there. This is just the way that we view things in our own way. So if it works for you, great. But if not, you know, take it with a grain of salt, of course.
And I also want you to know I'm going to be reading some people's names, and I have the permission to say their names. And other people want to be anonymous. So just know if I say the names, I do have people's permission.
Cool.
Okay, here we go.
That's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with question number 1. I'll let you go ahead and read that.
Okay, sounds good. How do you be friends only with a person that is the love of your life and set boundaries to move forward as friends only, even when that's not all you want, but can't have anything else because they chose someone else? He begged me to be friends with him, and he says he wants me in his life. I am heartbroken.
Yeah, that's a deep question. That's deep.
That's hard. So it sounds like he chose not to be in a relationship with you, chose to be in a relationship with somebody else, but he still wants to be friends with you.
Yeah. So I think, I don't want to say this is a common thing, but I think this happens a lot where one person wants to be in a relationship and the other person doesn't, but the other person wants to be friends still. It's extremely hard, I think, to keep a friendship like that, you know? It might make sense to pull back a little bit. It might make sense to maybe keep in touch with them, but just still not get as close, because even being around them might pull in a lot of really hard feelings, you know? I definitely would say if you did want to be friends with that person, you just want to make sure you don't have in your mind this thought of, well, any moment we could be together, right? Any moment he'll change his mind. Any moment, you know, this couple, you know, they'll break up and he'll be with me, because at the end of the day, the reality is if he's not making that choice to be with you now, there's a good chance he's not going to make that choice to be with you later. It's definitely something I would say is a really sensitive subject. I might say in your situation, consider pulling back a little bit, you know, but it's completely up to you. I hope that, you know, helps answer the question a little bit.
I'm going to piggyback on that. It sounds like there's still so many intense emotions there. You still love him very much, and you're not used to the shift yet and friends, and it's not even necessarily what you want more. If you are going to continue to be in each other's life, if you do want him in your life as a friend, it's not a bad idea to take some space and to heal from the grief and the loss of this breakup, and to truly like start, you know, creating some emotional space, because that's the boundaries. You're going to have those feelings probably for a while, but I think the more you can maybe disconnect emotionally, do your own thing, heal from it, grieve, it won't be so intense when you do see each other, if you do decide that you want to be friends. But I do think you need some personal time for yourself. It's very hard to just go from like a lover relationship to just like friends, you know, especially when you didn't want that. So I think you need to take time for yourself, and don't feel pressured to be friends with somebody just because they're begging you, right? And this is about what you want.
That's right.
You know, do you want him in your life? I know you want him in your life as a lover, and so sometimes that might be too hard to even be friends with somebody if you still are in love. But can you take some space? Can you emotionally distance? Can you do your own thing for a little while and heal, and then maybe re-engage on a different level, on a friendship level? But I do think creating some space for now sounds like the best thing to do until you kind of figure out, you know, what you do want moving forward with him, if there is anything. Okay, next question number 2. This comes from Kristen Robbins Crutchen. Shout out to you, Kristen.
What's up, Kristen?
Okay. So I know y'all dated for several years before being married. Yes, 15 years.
Yeah.
To be exact. I've been married before, but have been with my true love for 11 years. I'm fine with not being married. Been there, done that. My question is, if you never get married and decide to be life partners, I don't want to be called a girlfriend. I'm 49 years old, and it doesn't give what we are its due.
Yeah.
When you introduce or speak about your love, what label do you give? P.S. I'm with a nice guy like Jamil, so lucky in love.
All right, on.
So happy for you, Kristen.
Yeah, that's what's
amazing.
up. That's what's up.
I had this issue too, girl.
Yeah.
I had this issue too.
We talked about this.
We did talk
Yeah.
about it. It was 100% all cute and cozy when we
Yeah.
were 17 and I was your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to even being,
Yeah.
I was what, 32 by the time I got married, but 30, 29. I was like, girlfriend.
Yeah,
I
it
was
just
like,
didn't feel
"Ugh."
right.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah, yeah. Even telling people like, oh, my girlfriend and stuff like that. It was very. It didn't flow off the tongue. And he meant boyfriend. To say boyfriend.
Oh yeah, for you, yeah. No, but I mean, people labeled me as a girlfriend. I guess. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
We were saying boyfriend, yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
So, So, anyways, I said, what did I say? I think I said partner for a while.
You did say partner for
That
a while.
seemed a little like formal, to be honest. Like I didn't love partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but I to be honest, I couldn't find a great thing that I love. Now, some people love partner or life partner. Other half. I liked other half.
Yeah.
I said other half.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, like it wasn't, like I still felt like the partner was cool, it was a little formal. The other half was cool because that sounded like really like committed to each other.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really anything that I felt was like amazing in terms of a label.
That's
I
right.
say you call yours whatever you want, I mean, everyone's different. But I agree. I do think the girlfriend and the boyfriend can sound, not to everybody, but it can sound just like young. So I like life partner personally, or like other half. Yeah.
We settled on just calling ourselves husband and wife. Like I'm pretty sure we talked about just doing that.
You know what? Towards the end, I think we did.
We
I
settled
forgot
on just
about
doing that. And actually, depending on how your relationship works and what you want to do, you could just go ahead and say husband and wife. I don't want to give too much information, but there's someone that I know.
You know people who do that.
Family members and stuff like that
Yeah.
who actually have not been married as well, but have been together for a very long time that they just say husband and wife,
Facts.
And in my opinion, I feel like that's something you may as well say. The difference really between what you're doing in a marriage is really the contract and of course the benefits that come with the marriage, of course, but you guys are married in that sense without the actual contract essentially. So, I definitely, depending on how you want to do it, I would say you guys just go ahead and say husband and wife if that's something that makes you happy, of course. But if you don't want to use those words because maybe it's triggering, like you said, if you've been there, done that with at least the marriage and stuff,
Right.
then maybe make up your own words, I guess.
Lover boy.
Exactly.
My lover boy, my lover.
Girl. Yeah. The most important part is that whatever you call it, that you guys are very happy and very just grateful and respectful of each other in the relationship,
That totally is what's most important. I loved your answer. That was so great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, if you want to be called husband and wife, I totally think that's 1,000% fine because you are committed like that, and that's how we felt,
Yeah.
But if, like you said, if you don't like the word, you can use any word that feels comfortable for you. Maybe you guys can go down a list and see what you like.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't even need to be forever. You could do husband and wife some days. You could say life partner or
That's right.
other half other days, like whatever
Yeah.
works for you. But I do think what is most important is your commitment in your relationship, the love between you guys, the healthy relationship. Like that is what counts. So
That's right.
everything else is labels.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
do what you feel comfortable with. Question number 3.
Cool.
Me and my partner have been together for over a year now. We live together and the lease in both of our names. In the beginning, the intimacy was great, and it is now whenever it happens. I'm a physical touch kind of person, like that's my love language, and she is the complete opposite. We go several months at a time with no intimacy, and the only physical interaction we have is a good night, good morning kiss, or when one of us leaves for work. She says she wants me to be able to stimulate her mind, but I don't even know where to begin with that. I don't want to throw away what we've worked so hard for over the intimacy, because that's basically it. We talked about it, also talked about going our separate ways because of it. There's no animosity, no anger. We're in a good spot. But my needs in that department aren't being met, and she just doesn't want it. Almost makes me feel that maybe it's me, but she swears it's not because of me. Should we stay together and try to make it work, or do you think it's best for us to go our separate ways?
That's a deep question.
It's loaded too.
Yeah.
It's loaded.
Do you mind if I go first?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So you are in a relationship for 1 year so far. That's considered more of a medium, right, to short-term relationship, right? Obviously, a year is a very good amount of time to get to know someone, which is why you're kind of starting to see these type of things that you're having issues with, right? With the affection and stuff like that. Around this time is when you start to get to know people. Now, people can change down the road and stuff like that. Typically, the person who you're with right now, how they are, it tends to be how they're going to be, right? I look at our relationship and, I'm not very much of a physical touch type person. Like, I can be affectionate during certain times, but a lot of times I like to be completely distanced, and, even sometimes Kristen will touch me and I'm just like, sorry, don't touch me, I don't feel like it, which is kind of weird. I'll say it in a nice way, of course, but I have reservations when it comes to like affectionate stuff, right? Do you know
It's
that?
funny, I hella disagree with that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's cool because I feel like like every time I need whatever, I feel like you always give it.
Oh.
So I totally didn't think
Well, you've had talks saying I haven't been.
No, PDA, public display of affection.
Oh.
But I feel like personally, you're always great.
Okay, well,
That's
I do
why.
feel like I maybe then you're not asking for a lot, but I feel like there's a lot of couples that give a lot more. Like I've known couples that they're constantly touching, constantly engaging, whether PDA by themselves or I'm sure by in privacy or in public. So the point that I'm trying to make with that is I'm who I'm going to be, right? So this person you're with is going to probably be who they're going to be.
I heard you say that your needs are not being met.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a little intimacy with a kiss in the morning and before you go to work and stuff like that, but you want more. You want more affection, you want more intimacy.
Yeah.
And you said your needs aren't being met. So
Yeah.
that is not a good sign. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't work out, but there is going to need to be effort on her part.
True.
To show you more affection and more intimacy, because that's what you need. That's your love language, to feel secure in the relationship, to feel loved. If she isn't making an effort, it's not the best sign. And I know she said that she wants her mind stimulated. That's great too. I think that needs to be more clear of what that means. I can guess that could mean like deeper conversation or but she probably has a way to explain that.
That's right.
So I do think that maybe there can be a give and take in those categories, because maybe if she feels like her mind is stimulated, whatever that looks like, then she'll want to show more physical affection.
That's true.
It's not a great place, and especially after a year of living together. And I do think that Jamil's right. After a year, the honeymoon tends to phase out.
Yeah, it's coming to that next level of the relationship.
Yes,
essentially.
exactly.
Is that what it is?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And you either grow together or you grow apart. That's with any couple, any relationship.
If I could just touch on one last thing, this stage right now that you're in, this is the time to start butting heads, kind of, not arguing just to argue, but trying to get to know that person a little bit better. Figure them out. Why are they not giving what you want? What can you do to make them feel more comfortable? All those types of things, because that's the stuff that you're going to need long term. So really, this stage right now, it is. If you are going to work it out with this person, this is the time to try and get it to understand them a little bit more.
This is going to be the last question, I think.
Okay.
And then, like I said, if you guys like it, please comment down below. Let us know if you want to do more of these.
That's
And we
right.
totally will. Okay.
Exactly, because we did get a lot of questions.
We did.
So we're more than willing to answer more.
Yes, as long as you like it.
Exactly.
Okay, last question. Here we go. I would like to be anonymous, absolutely. Is it a deal breaker if one person wants kids and to get married sooner than the other person? Or is there a way to compromise? Is it a deal breaker if one person wants to get married sooner than the other?
Okay.
Or is there a way to compromise? So I think it's a great sign that both of you guys want marriage and children.
Yeah.
That's good, because if one person didn't want marriage and children and the other person did,
That's a deal breaker, right?
that's 1,000% a deal breaker. You can't compromise on kids or no kids.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you want them both are great. One wants them sooner than the other. So is it a compromise? I think it can be, absolutely. I think the person who wants to, both people, so whoever wants to do it sooner needs to tell the person, okay, what is their timeline? The person who wants to wait also needs to give a timeline. Okay, what does that look like? And then, I think it's hard, but I think you guys could like meet in the middle. Or is there something that the person who wants to wait sooner is trying to strive for before going through that next hurdle?
Yeah.
Because what could that be? Like, what are they needing or wanting or needing to see or experience before taking that dive, before taking the plunge?
Yeah.
Can that be done sooner? Than the actual timeline that they've set in their mind. Mm-hmm. So you really need to figure out the reasons why the person wants to wait. And I think you also need to figure out the reasons why the person who wants it sooner wants it sooner.
Yeah.
Like what are they needing to make it sooner than later too, right? And then I think it's just having like a real open conversation and coming up with a timeline that is fair and works for both, because one person wants it sooner, one person wants it later.
Yeah.
Are they willing to kind of meet, halfway there and compromise on both ends? I think that's the best case scenario to be able to do that.
That's right. Mm-hmm. This is essentially a relationship. This is how it is. Like, sure. Everyone comes in a relationship with different needs, different wants, whether in this case it's a time frame or other things. Obviously, what's most important is that you guys are on the same level as far as having kids in marriage, right? Like Kristen said earlier, if one person does not want to get married, if one person does not want kids, that's pretty much a deal breaker, because those problems are going to arise later on down the road, and they're going to get a lot worse. Mm-hmm. But, I think in this specific situation, it really is, to touch again on your point, it's all about understanding why that other person wants to wait a little bit. Mm-hmm. What's their reasoning for it? Are they trying to accomplish something? Are they trying to, go to school, finish school before they do that? Or are they just waiting? Are they just not sure? Mm-hmm. So it is important to ask those questions if you haven't already, and try to, get in their brain and understand it. Mm-hmm. I think another thing too is that, sometimes as the time goes on, people have different, they change their mind about as far as like how soon they want the kids and how much they want to wait. This person might, after a year, might be like, you know what, I'm ready. Right. I'm ready to do this, right. My answer to this ultimately would be to just communicate as much as you can to the person and get to understand what they want and what they need. And then, of course, address what you want and what you need. And just try to be on the same page as much as possible, check in yearly if you want and kind of see, what that person's thinking the year later, That's
a great idea.
So, and then, of course it does depend on age. That's of course something to think about as well. But it's important to just communicate it and figure out what that person, wants and needs and what you want and need, and you guys talk about it and bring it together. Yeah. I
also have to say, to make you feel better, hopefully it does. I've seen a lot of these things really compromise, like work out on its own.
Yeah.
Like one person says they want them later, but then they end up, kind of doing it earlier because it's important to the other person, and what they actually turned out waiting it wasn't a hard thing that they absolutely needed, a hard date that they thought it was, and they didn't want to, they thought like, okay, like I'm willing to compromise to do this. I want to be with this person. I want to make them happy. Yeah. Things tend to really do resolve on this own sometimes when it comes to the timeline. But yes, getting on the same page, figuring out like what can you guys kind of settle on now, roughly? What can you pencil in-ish? That would make you both feel good. And are you both like, feeling like you're getting your needs met when you, in that timeline?
Yeah.
Talk, open, honest communication.
Exactly.
I think you guys are going to figure it out though.
Yeah.
I think you got this.
Exactly. Well, you guys, I think that's it. That was a tough one.
That was a hard one.
All of these questions, you guys, were really good questions. We hope we answered them. We did the best we can to our ability to answer them for you guys. We appreciate you guys asking the questions, and I would love to do more of these.
Me too.
Right?
I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for letting us give our 2 cents.
Exactly.
Comment down below. Let us know if you like it.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions for your personal relationships, or maybe somebody's going through something, feel free to comment down below or private message us. We can keep a kind of like a record of questions. But I need to know if you guys like this. We need to know if you guys like this.
Exactly.
Okay? Yeah.
If you hate us, if you hate us, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you hate
this, we don't have to do it again.
We don't have to do it again. Exactly.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We love you so much, and we'll see you next time for another video.
Peace.
Peace out, Trouts.